What if I told you that one of the most mysterious artifacts in God of War wasn't forged by gods of war, but by a goddess of wisdom? That the mask Kratos wears, or the one that appears throughout the saga, might have roots in Athena's own manipulations, her cunning designs, and perhaps her obsession with control. Today, we're diving deep into a theory that could change the way you see the entire God of War mythos. To understand this theory, we need to revisit Athena's complex and often shadowy role throughout the God of War saga. Athena, goddess of wisdom, strategy, and cunning, is far from a passive observer in Kratos' journey. In the original trilogy, she repeatedly positions herself as both a mentor and a manipulator, guiding Kratos' hand while ensuring that the larger events of Olympus unfold according to her vision. Consider her actions in God of War 2005. Athena doesn't simply offer advice to Kratos. She carefully orchestrates his confrontations with Ares, subtly nudging him toward the fulfillment of the prophecy that will ultimately grant her influence over the mortal and divine realms. Even after Ares is defeated, she continues to steer Kratos, manipulating him into confronting Zeus and the Olympian gods, all while framing herself as a helpful ally. Her manipulative tendencies are rooted in classical Greek myth. Athena is a goddess who frequently uses disguise, deception, and psychological tactics to test heroes, often without their knowledge. She appears in myths wearing masks or taking other forms to influence outcomes, teach lessons, or ensure heroes fulfill their destinies. This pattern mirrors her behavior in God of War, where her guidance often carries hidden motives, suggesting that her wisdom is inseparable from her control. Now, this is where the mask theory becomes particularly intriguing. If Athena is a goddess who shapes perception and identity, the idea that she could create or magically influence the mask aligns perfectly with her methods. In the games, the mask appears in moments of psychological or moral tension for Kratos, visions, nightmares, and pivotal decision points. It isn't merely a physical object. It's a tool that could alter the way Kratos sees the world and, by extension, the choices he makes. Imagine Athena observing Kratos' rage and ambition and deciding that a device like the mask could amplify her influence. It would allow her to manipulate not just events, but Kratos' perception of himself, his enemies, and his allies. In essence, the mask could be her most subtle and profound instrument of control, a way to guide Kratos toward her desired outcomes without him even realizing it. In this light, Athena isn't just shaping Kratos' battles, she's shaping his very identity. The mask, then, could be a reflection of her wisdom and her cunning, her ability to intervene directly in the mind of a god-slaying mortal without ever stepping onto the battlefield herself. Now, let's focus on the mask itself. Unlike weapons or artifacts with overt power, the mask's appearances are subtle but remarkably consistent. Across the God of War saga, from the original game to Ghost of Sparta, the mask tends to surface in moments of psychological tension, Kratos' visions, nightmares, or pivotal points of moral conflict. It isn't always physical. Sometimes it's a symbol, a shadow on a wall, or a fleeting reflection, but its presence is unmistakable to those paying attention. So, what is the mask really? Is it just symbolic, or does it serve a more tangible purpose? The theory we're exploring suggests that it's far more than a visual motif. The mask could function as a tool of control, guiding Kratos' rage, influencing his perception of enemies and allies, and subtly steering his choices without him realizing it. In essence, it could be a form of psychological warfare, an artifact designed to manipulate him from within. Let's look at specific instances. In Ghost of Sparta, during the sequences where Kratos confronts memories of his past and the death of his family, the mask appears as a spectral presence in visions or hallucinations. Its timing is never random. It coincides with moments where Kratos' judgment is clouded by grief, guilt, or anger. This suggests that the mask isn't just there for style or symbolism. It appears strategically, almost as if someone, or something, is orchestrating when Kratos is most vulnerable. And who would benefit from this influence? Athena. Known for her manipulative, strategic nature, She is the prime candidate for the mask's creation or enchantment. In classical Greek mythology, Athena frequently uses disguises, illusions, and tests to shape heroes' actions. She doesn't just teach lessons, she subtly guides heroes toward her desired outcomes, often without their awareness. The mask in God of War can be seen as a digital, gamified extension of that trait, a tangible manifestation of her cunning, a device that blends control, perception, and psychological influence. Consider this: the mask's function mirrors Athena's mythic methodology. It appears in moments of doubt, it surfaces when Kratos' choices matter most, and it influences how he sees the world around him. Could the mask even amplify specific emotions, rage when she wants him to fight, restraint when she wants him to pause, or fear when she wants him to hesitate? If Athena is indeed behind the mask, then it is not just an artifact, it is a reflection of her intelligence, her foresight, and her obsession with shaping destiny, Kratos' destiny, specifically. Pause for a moment. What do you think? Was Athena the mastermind behind the mask, or is it purely symbolic? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like this video if you love deep dives like this. Your support keeps MythMode exploring the shadows of lore and myth. Let's break down specific moments in the games. God of War 2005. Athena appears at key points to steer Kratos, but notice how she never shows her full hand. The mask appears in the background of visions, almost as a silent guide or a warning. God of War, Ghost of Sparta. The mask is more pronounced during Kratos' moments of doubt and grief. Athena's involvement is heavily implied in these dream sequences. She thrives on influencing emotion and perception. God of War 2018. Even with the Norse mythology shift, artifacts reminiscent of the mask or its symbolic influence are scattered throughout the narrative. The lingering question: was Athena's influence truly gone, or did she leave behind tools, like the mask, that transcend realms and pantheons? The pattern is clear. Every time Kratos struggles with choice, with rage, or with his own identity, the mask appears or is referenced. Athena benefits directly from these situations, either by pushing Kratos toward her vision or by ensuring his path aligns with her strategies. Now, let's lay the theory out in full. Imagine Athena, the goddess of wisdom, strategy, and cunning, not just watching Kratos as a warrior, but recognizing his potential as a vessel for chaos, an unpredictable force that could be shaped to serve her broader vision for Olympus. She doesn't create the mask to harm him outright. Instead, it's a subtle instrument of influence, designed to steer his emotions, perceptions, and choices at critical moments. Think of the mask as a multi-layered tool in Athena's arsenal, each layer serving a precise function. 1. Emotion control. The mask could amplify Kratos' rage when she wants him to act decisively, turning grief into fury, hesitation into action. Conversely, it could dampen his doubts or moral hesitations when they threaten to derail her plan. For example, during Kratos' confrontation with Ares, or later with Zeus, moments of emotional turmoil often coincide with visions of the mask or its symbolic presence, subtly pushing him toward decisions that align with Athena's strategy. 2. Perception filter. The mask may shape the way Kratos perceives the world. Allies could appear as distractions, enemies as amplified threats, or moral dilemmas as simplified choices, all steering him down a path Athena has preordained. In effect, it acts as a lens through which he sees reality, ensuring that he interprets situations in a way that benefits her plans. Consider how in Ghost of Sparta, Kratos' perception of betrayal, loyalty, and vengeance seems heightened or distorted at key moments. The mask, if tied to Athena, could explain why these perceptions are so sharply aligned with her objectives. 3. Memory manipulation. The mask could even influence Kratos' memories, shaping flashbacks, visions, and pivotal choices in ways that reinforce her guidance. Think of the sequences where Kratos revisits his past, his family, his mistakes, and his failures. These moments are rarely neutral, they're emotionally charged and loaded with internal conflict. Through the mask, Athena could be nudging him toward a narrative she controls, shaping not only his decisions, but his understanding of his own identity and past actions. Viewed through this lens, Athena is no longer merely a mentor or manipulator. She becomes an architect of Kratos' reality. The mask transforms into one of her most potent instruments, not a weapon of direct violence, but a device of psychological and emotional influence, guiding the Ghost of Sparta with invisible strings. And it's this subtlety that makes the theory so compelling. The mask represents Athena's ultimate strategy, an object that allows her to control destiny without ever stepping directly into battle. She doesn't just guide Kratos, she shapes the very lens through which he experiences the world, steering his rage, his choices, and even his memories to align with the narrative only she can see. If this theory holds, it changes the way we perceive Kratos' autonomy. Was he ever truly free? Or was Athena always pulling strings from the shadows, using the mask as her silent enforcer? It also adds nuance to the God of War narrative. Athena's wisdom wasn't just strategic, it was psychological. Her influence extended beyond battles into the very psyche of the Ghost of Sparta. And finally, it leaves room for speculation in the Norse saga. Could artifacts like the mask, or its principles, resurface in Kratos' new life, echoing Athena's lingering influence across worlds and pantheons? The mask is more than metal or magic. It's a symbol of control, a testament to Athena's cunning, and a question that lingers: how much of Kratos' story is truly his own? If you loved this deep dive into lore and theory, subscribe to MythMode and join our journey through the myths that shape the worlds of your favorite games. Until next time, stay curious and never stop exploring the shadows behind the legends.